I'm Niall O'Sullivan. I'm a postdoctoral researcher in the Centre for Research into Atmospheric Chemistry in University College Cork. So I started my undergrad in chemistry in UCC in 2013. I graduated in 2017 and I started a PhD with Professor John Wenger. So the focus of my PhD was on atmospheric trace pollutants and how they change in the atmosphere, the chemistry that they would undergo. I found myself really interested in the chemistry of the atmosphere and how things were evolving, the different emissions and their sources, and what can actually happen once things are emitted into the atmosphere. So since then I've started this postdoctoral research looking in the Port Air area, so looking at the chemistry and the pollutants that occur that happen in this kind of environment. I think it's very important, especially these days, to take into account that these emissions are happening right now and they're having an impact on climate and health for people all over the world, and we need to understand these more. And just staying in the lab and looking at things in the lab isn't fully representative of what actually happens in the real atmosphere. So it's good to be able to do these kind of field campaigns and look at things in the real world rather than a simulated or controlled environment like we have in the lab. Definitely, I think it makes a change not being stuck inside in the lab. But it's good to get out here and have to work in these conditions. It's not always smooth sailing. It's rainy and it's windy sometimes, but it's a different experience and it is enjoyable to be able to work in the field rather than just in a lab at a desk. Personally, I really enjoyed the lab sessions. So in chemistry, you have different lab sessions for different modules, and from second year onwards, you're specifically focused more on chemistry than anything. And you get to learn a lot about different experiments, different types of chemistry that are going on. And then by your final year, then you've built on those in-lab and supervised labs, and then you have your final year project where you get to do your own research, whether lab-based or not. And I think those kind of lab-based practical work is the most interesting part of chemistry. I think mixing climate change and health, which was something I was interested in anyway, with chemistry, which I clearly had an interest in from my degree choice, was something that I really wanted to do and continue my research in that. So I did a final year project on pollution in Cork City, and I wanted to continue that beyond just looking at it from an undergraduate point of view and look at it in a more advanced postgraduate aspect, and now I've moved on to a postdoctoral aspect as well. I quite like the idea of research, but it can be a tough industry or a tough field to keep going in, but I think if I do leave research, I would like to keep going in climate science, looking at things in the Environmental Protection Agency or things like that, where you look at that and you do try to make a real difference with regards to climate change or human health based on air pollution and exposure.